call the meeting to order.
Here we go.
All right, excellent. All right, so call the meeting to order. The very first thing on the agenda is publicly announced that Lynn Edelstein has resigned, effective as of Sunday. She's involved with a variety of other organizations, and just her time is up, basically, is what it comes down to for her, and I understand that. Okay, the second thing we're going to be doing is the request by Ann John, Sculpture Now, to redirect grant money from one project to another. And just to remind you guys that we awarded a $500 grant for something called Ice Fire in 2021. And her ice sculpture artist and crew all got infected with COVID, and they weren't able to present the program. And they'd hoped to postpone it to 2022, but they've now learned that the artist and his crew are no longer even available. So she is requesting that we can consider redirecting the grant to their current program, which is the Sculpture Now, So, and she says the show has gotten rave reviews in the Boston Globe, the Times Union, from thousands of visitors. So that is what is before us. And so, any discussion?
I'm comfortable with that. I mean, I think it's a great exhibit.
Yeah.
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 Sorry we didn't see the fire because that sounded really
I know, it did
interesting,
sound good,
but,
but this year's
and
sculpture show is
Yes,
amazing.
I agree. We were
Yeah.
talking about that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So I make a motion that we transfer the funds from Ice Fire to Sculpture Now.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Wonderful.
Karen, where are you?
We're in the town offices in the select board meeting room.
Got it.
Well-
Because the sound quality is pretty good.
Oh, good.
Oh, they've set all this up so that the whole Zoom thing works well. Yeah, so,
I'm sure they're using it a lot these days.
oh, yeah. Well, most meetings are meant to be hybrid now. So
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's that Joe.
I hear someone. Hello?
Yep, right. Yeah, that's it.
Joe, come on in. Come on in.
I found you guys.
Yeah, I know.
I have a room number. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Everyone, this is Joe Tonetti. He's our latest new member.
Nice to meet you.
Janet,
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Lionel, Andrea,
Hi, Andrea.
and Ed on the screen there.
Hi, Ed. You don't have the mask. That's great. It's nice to be in person, though.
Yes,
It is
yes,
indeed.
yeah, yeah. Janet and I have only met over Zoom, and so the other day, in person, she had to say, "Hi, I'm Janet." Yeah,
I
right.
recognize you from Zoom.
Yeah, right, exactly. So we just voted on transferring funds from one project to another, a sculpture project that got delayed because, got derailed because of COVID, and so they've asked us to transfer the funds, but we have all voted on that.
I saw that on the agenda, which I printed out here.
Yeah.
The first item, right? So,
Yeah, so we're okay, we've all,
the Ann John sculpture?
yeah.
Great.
We're going to redirect that money, so. I also wanted to check in, MCC, Mass Cultural Council now has these new procedures, new online access, the Smart Simple. Has anybody tried to get on, or?
It's changed since last year.
Yes, yes. Yeah, you all got emails.
Yeah.
You all got emails.
I attended one of the webinars.
I did
but
too.
It was, I don't know. I mean, I sort of figured once we had things to review, then I would figure it out.
Okay.
Because otherwise it will go in one part of my head and out the other.
It's
Too
not,
abstract.
it's not as bad as I feared. I was able to get on. And there are tons and tons of webinars that they've recorded. So the other thing is, if you have a problem, call our representative. I can actually make sure, if you're not sure who that is Veronica, and call her and she'll walk you through everything.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, what I can do is I can send out her full name and
That would be
telephone
great.
number.
Thank you. That'd be good.
Yeah.
I honestly think that would be the easiest way to go if you have problems getting.
Okay.
All right, I will send that out. All right. The grant cycle schedule is now back to pre-pandemic, so that we are accepting applications as of now, September 1st through October 15th. And then the applications close on the 15th. There's some financial reporting that has to get done by the 15th. And we will probably have things to review beginning of November, second week of November, somewhere in there. We have to meet by the end of December to do the voting meeting, and then letters go out, approval and disapproval. I just wanted to review that.
Yeah, so the beginning of November, we can meet, but anytime during the month of November usually works, or do you want to meet in early November? Do you have a sense for?
Early November is not going to give us enough time to review.
Yeah, we have to review, so we get all of the, applications, we review them independently,
Yep.
and then we come together once we've reviewed
Perfect.
the applications,
Yeah.
so.
That's right, that
Yeah.
sounds, I remember hearing
It
that.
has to be done by the end of December.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah.
Karen,
Yeah.
for what it's worth, because of my class schedule, I will never be able to meet on a Monday. My Monday, I'm in school until like 9 at night. So, when you schedule meetings, please try to avoid Mondays.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Good. The last thing is the last thing we have to discuss is the chair and treasurer positions. I'm assuming you all got the email I sent out on Sunday that I do want to resign as of December 1st. And as I said, I've been both chair and treasurer, so it's doable, but I recommend that be split. And I'm doing the financial stuff now that has to be done. Let me backtrack a little bit and say, I just went over the financials with the accountant yesterday, found a small mistake that the previous accountant had made, and she's working on fixing that. And based on that, the money that we're getting this year and what has to remain untouched because reimbursements haven't come in yet for this past fiscal year, I'm estimating there'll be about 5,700 to give out.
okay.
So you're resigning before we finish this year's process?
Yes, I am.
By the way, congratulations on is Stockbridge great, is it the?
Cemetery commission.
Cemetery,
Oh, thank you, yes.
that's exciting. So,
Yes,
a lot of work,
It's actually quite busy right now. There's a lot of backlog of things. So,
Sure, that's nice.
And when I say, I'm not available, I mean, I'm available to help anyone through questions. The truth is with luck, I'm going to be away for most of November anyway.
Okay,
So it would have been hard for me to do any reviewing, but just sort of the way things are right now, this would be the best thing for me to do. So I'm sort of hoping to hear from people. Ed, I was actually eyeing you as possible treasurer.
I'm afraid I won't have the time, Karen. I'm just sorry. I'm jammed up with my business, plus I teach a couple of courses at Albany. My plate is full.
Sounds it, yeah. All right. So
Treasurer.
the bottom line is that my term was up at the end of next June anyway. So I have to leave at that point. And I really do need to leave before that. So. Yes, go
How
ahead.
many people are there total in the Mass Cultural Council at this moment? And how many people are new to it?
You mean in the Stockbridge Cultural Council?
Yes, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Cultural Council.
Well, with Lynn, one of our members has just resigned. And I'm going to be leaving, so there'll be a total of 6.
Yeah, because there's one member we're missing today.
Yeah, she just couldn't make it tonight, yeah.
Couldn't make it tonight.
Yeah, so there'll be a total of 6 people. To be a viable cultural council, you have to have 5 or more. So you're kind of on the edge there a little bit, but.
So can you tell us more of what it entails in terms of the treasury, in terms of time, in terms of
Well, I laid it all out in my email, but hopefully I'll be able to remember it.
right, but
Chair is running the meetings and dealing with calls and that sort of phone calls and this. But treasurer is more simple than it sounds. It's mostly managing the record keeping of the reimbursements. Once we approve and once a project has happened, then the organization or artist sends in a reimbursement form, which has to be just looked over, signed. The mail comes here to the town offices. So we actually have a little box that says Cultural Council. Up until, because of the pandemic, things were actually coming to my personal mailbox, but we'll shift that over. Once you get that, keeping track of what reimbursements, I'd make copies of it, and any supplemental materials, I clip them together, sign it, put the account number on it and give it to the accountant, and that's it.
Give it to the accountant.
The accountant actually does the payment. You never actually handling money. It's really more about tracking
Bookkeeping.
the reimbursements, yeah. And I have some forms that I've created for myself just to keep track. So it's not, and it's not busy. It's never terribly busy. I suspect now, between now and February, we're going to be getting more reimbursements because more projects have been done. But they kind of dribble in, basically.
Okay, so I'll pass on the good word there. I'm not talking about my own interest in accounting, in the bookkeeping of it. That's what we're talking about, right?
No.
I'll pass the information I was asked, so
Oh, okay.
if, you know,
You were asked by someone else
yeah,
who's not on the council,
it's not our council.
but might be interested.
Might be interested.
Well, I mean, that's another thing that I just wanted to take a moment to sort of ask if we're a little bit on the line, as you referred to it, as having enough people. What is our protocol for bringing on members as we can find them, or that would be good at it if we were to know people and we don't want to get to a point where we don't have enough people. But I don't know, this is my first meeting. I don't know how many people have been on for a year or 2 years, but
Actually, most of
You
it,
both came on last year, right?
Right.
Did you-
No,
I came-
No, Lionel's been on for,
And I came on last.
you and Rena came on last year. I came on the year before that.
yeah.
and
Ed,
Ed is also, I think, recent.
Recent.
Recent is, so except for me, right now, at this point, there's actually fairly
Yeah.
healthy. In terms of protocol, people can join at any point.
right.
There is no,
But the term requirement or wishful
Ideal.
is 2 years,
3 years and then 3-year renewal if you want to.
like Laurel Hill. Okay.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like the library board's the same way.
yeah, so this is actually my third year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's right.
Okay, thanks.
So, and Andrea is our wonderful secretary, so she's not taking on any other.
I can't. Yeah, I am taking on a lot of other things.
The other thing, as I said in my email, the MCC allows for co-chairs. They allow for kind of any sort of combination of things that work. I mean, the fact that I was treasurer and chair was never an issue for them. So it was, so there's a lot of flexibility.
Right.
But I'm encouraging someone to step up here because I really do need to go by the end of November.
Right. I'm feeling a little anxious about the council in general, and I signed up for it, and then things got very different at the Norman Rockwell Museum with a bunch of people in our curatorial department leaving and taking an absence. And so there's big changes there happening in my direct department. And so I'm a little bit anxious about even being on the board, but I don't want to be a naysayer and I don't want to necessarily leave the board empty-handed. But the idea of taking on more responsibility as opposed to sort of saying, maybe this isn't the year I do it, I'm going over in my head with the responsibilities. I don't think it's something that I can't handle, but I don't know if I want to be my first year the sort of chair or the treasurer, So,
Right, I hear that. What
I
about,
want to give voice to that and not to shirk responsibility, but I do know that this happened within the last month, 3 weeks since you and I have even talked.
yeah.
Which is good for me in a career way, but it's also hinges on the volunteer a little bit. So I just had to say that so that you knew that if I'm not speaking up, it's because of,
I understand.
I don't know what I'm getting into, but there's been definitely job descriptions changing very fast there.
Oh, goodness. Okay, all right.
You mentioned the co-chairmanship because, so I have talked to Lynn a while ago, and she described also the position, knowing that you were retiring from it. And I said, no, it's none of my interest to be chair because they are administrative functions which are not my forte. And my role is really into outreaching which is what I did at Laurel Hill. And so I have a certain expertise right now at outreaching in the community, which would be a program of my interest to, so expanding on the role that we have. I have the vision of outreaching to the community, of having to define a strategic plan based on the state one that has come out. I have this vision of broadening how scope, maybe rescinding the many grants we are giving to a few, but valorize the program, which would take probably at least 2 years to get to speed, to be recognized by the crowds that we want to reach. I have why do I have that sense? Because I've been an artist all my life, and I'm the only artist here that I know of. So I know that you've been, yes, right. But so I've
Can I just interrupt you for a sec? Just, what does this have to do with figuring out how we find a chair and a treasurer?
Because I am proposing as a co-chair.
You want to be a co-chair?
Right, right.
So you're willing to be a co-chair, not a chair, but a co-chair?
A co-chair, that's according to the last email, if you read it, yeah.
Right, so we would need to find someone to be a chair with you, is that what you're saying?
That is correct, but this way it would, because of all our responsibilities that are in your work already at the museum and my own responsibilities, I know what I can do and I know what I cannot do. I've defined that for myself. So, but I think it could be of my personal interest as an artist, knowing the difficulties that I've had to start. I mean, I started making postcards and so forth. I saw grants around me. I was in Northampton for 30 years, and I built up a resilience to, I got a few grants, but basically others such as would not be worth my time, or that I decided after a few tries. So I would want to restore, if there is to be restored, I would want to give it a try in terms of the state strategic plan, which is fairly interesting. I don't want to broaden it up here. You all read it, I'm sure, so.
Yes.
I think that I would be in a better position to serve as treasurer, which I would be willing to do.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. That's great.
Exactly.
Wow.
We nominate and do we vote right now and
Yeah.
settle that?
Yeah,
I'll
that's,
need to, but
That's
I
true.
think
And I'll
that
work-
would fit in a little better with, it's a little bit more independent, and that's probably,
yeah, and I think that,
fits better for me.
and I'll work with you on transferring
Okay.
that information, and
Okay.
it's really not difficult at all.
So I'm nominating Janet Egelhofer to be treasurer.
A second.
Well, that's
All in
right.
favor?
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Great. So Janet, you don't have to be treasurer until I actually leave, but let's call you
Yes,
treasurer in training,
definitely.
and I'll
Yeah,
work with
so
you
I
on.
did. So it's a smooth
That sounds great.
transition, especially as we're going into this sort of busy
Right.
time. Yeah.
And Lena, I hear what you're saying. But you also need someone who's going to answer the requests of Ann John when they come in and make sure that
Right, of course.
the annual report is being done. So you really do need someone, if you're going to be co-chair, and at this point, we're out of people.
Do you think Rena might be?
She won't, right, yeah.
Yeah, she won't. No, she's already been chair many years
Oh,
ago.
okay, yeah,
so.
well, it seemed as if she might.
I mean, it'd be nice to cooperate at the level of chairmanship, to cooperate, to exchange ideas, to share responsibilities. And that's, so in concert with the treasurer and so forth. I can see then the role being half in terms of time consuming possibly, because I would want to attend state meetings, for instance. I've attended 2, 3 already. I find them very interesting. There's a way to outreach there, and so that's where I would want to spend my time is to germinate something that would take time, but I'm willing to give that time. I just wouldn't
Okay,
want to.
and that's fine, but I don't.
It's clear.
The other thing I'm wondering is if you actually need a chair. I mean, you're fantastic at organizing the meetings.
Well, except that there's all the other stuff that
Well, the
goes
annual
on.
report, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, as I said, I've just taken on this major responsibility to chair a foundation, and we're going through a search, and I've started a whole new career. So I just don't want to, I don't want to be the chair of anything
Gotcha, I hear you.
else. I just can't.
Where I'm kind of.
Yeah. Does anyone have any thoughts about possibly recruiting a chair?
I
Yes,
was thinking about.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be
Yeah.
that's the next direction.
Certainly, we've done that on boards. Does anybody know of someone who would be a good?
Well, someone who's been on the board before, who has a relation to the arts, to cultural life.
They don't have to have been on the board.
There's an administrative element that we really
It's really
want.
an administrative
Someone who's
element.
organized, has a little bit of time, and is
Exactly.
pretty efficient with their time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not to naysay the value of that, but I think we have arts-minded people here that would be represented, that understands a little bit of the process, but I think we're a little short on the administrative aspect.
Right.
Do you disagree with that?
No, I
No,
agree with
that's
you.
exactly
I think
I
that's
look
you said.
through, I'm a member of the Lennox Garden Club, and there are a lot of people in there that are Stockbridge based and who, can chair chairs.
That's a great
chair of
idea.
committees and, some good organization there. I'll look through that list.
Okay.
Someone who could co-chair a vision. What we probably, we want to be active.
Yes.
We want to be active. So that's, the consultation, proactive in the community. I know someone, but I would have to resign myself from the position itself. That would be my wife. She's founded one of the most successful firm in New York of public relations. So she would be the one. But
Interested, I mean, that's the other.
she is so virally interested in the arts.
She's interested in this. I mean, there's the arts and then there's this. And so it's good to be clear. Is she interested in this or
Facilitating.
is she interested in the arts? Because
No. That's like she's got a very interesting background and is very, if not polyvalent, but from an administrative point of view and her own interest in the arts throughout her life. And she is a person that can glue people together. She's been responsible for many people. She was a CFO of AT&T Capital.
is she interested? You sold us.
Interested?
We're sold on her resume, if that's true, yeah. I mean, my wife would be a very good administrator, but she's very busy and she probably doesn't want to do it. I'm not going to volunteer her at that.
That's right.
She's very good with numbers and Excel spreadsheets and organizing stuff, but she's got a lot on her plate, right?
So maybe
We'll keep our options open.
what we should do is should we set a sort of a deadline for Janet to think about a couple people, Lionel?
I would like to think about some
And,
people
yeah.
too. I mean, we all have to put everyone just sort of think about a couple of realistic candidates, talk about it with them, see if they're open and see if we can get a couple of people to sit down with, because even if that's on a Zoom,
That's good.
either way, we're short, we can grow into a larger size.
Right.
We're just at the cutoff.
Well, then that's the other
On
thing
the-
is if you may find people who want to join the board who may not want to be the chair, but we
This is a
also-
great opportunity. It seems like we have a little recruiting to do a last minute, but
But no, we definitely need to add more people. I wasn't expecting Lynn to resign, so.
Yeah.
that was kind of unexpected and happened at the same time as you. And
Exactly, yeah.
there are those of us that probably knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have
Right.
agreed to take on a responsibility at this time,
Right.
even though I'm always interested in Stockbridge and the arts and such. I'm not sure if I'm able to give as much as a chair could offer or
Right.
a chair at this point. It's also my first year. I don't know.
No, I know, I don't think that makes a lot of sense. So let's do that.
What would work for you in terms of a deadline?
Well, my reason.
I mean, it can't be yesterday.
Right. No, absolutely.
We have a, what is it?
If we, so I basically through October, I mean, into November would be fine with me. Do you know, if, MCC requires people to be living in town,
In the town of Stockbridge.
in the town?
I thought you check with Veronica.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they did, but it may not be the case. I mean,
Now, living, not owning, just renting, living tax-paying person is good, right? I mean,
Yes, they could be second homeowners.
it's not
Yeah.
homeowners, but do they have to own a home at all, or can they rent
See, that's, oh yeah, they can rent. The question is really just, do they have to be a resident
from
of
here?
Stockbridge?
I had someone in mind who's, I just learned is moving to Lennox. And I think it's probably not.
Check.
But I thought it's worth checking.
So I guess my question though, timing wise, is you're not going to be participating in the evaluation. Shouldn't we be trying to find someone who can participate in the evaluation? So get them on.
As many people, 2 to 3 people, and we could take easily right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have strong candidates.
So I'm wondering if like the deadline for coming up with candidates should be the end of this month.
Well, that makes sense. Is that,
End of
September.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
You know, it's just a question of going through.
yeah.
okay. No, that's a good point. Yeah. So think of a couple people,
And-
Leonel, think of a couple
Yeah.
people.
And maybe
I will-
email names.
Yes, that would be
To
great.
the
One,
committee and just say, you know.
It's,
Would you
Yeah.
be interested, say this person has expressed interest, and I think it would be.
that would be ideal.
Okay.
Well, the other thing is, yeah, how to sell it. I mean, it's almost like, asking people for money or something, you're kind of like, do you want to, a lot of people are pretty overwhelmed and feeling overwhelmed and busy now, at least in my circles, but, just being part of the cultural council in any capacity is definitely a start. So maybe next year they're the chair or they're the treasurer, but I don't really want to say no to people. I want them to kind of rope them in as, this is a good thing, not like,
Well, it is a good thing.
no, I know. I'm saying when I'm going to sort of try to find someone, I don't want them to say, I have to refine my messages, sort of the,
Well, Joe, actually, you really, in a sense, you don't. As I explained to you when you were interested, it's really only busy for a couple of months out of the year.
right,
And the rest of the time, it's not at all.
right.
So, and frankly, if someone were very new and they didn't have time to do, and we had enough people and they didn't have time to review all of the applications, that would be okay with this. I think that would be fine too.
The world wouldn't end.
If they couldn't review all the applications.
If someone felt overwhelmed by having to do something in December, reviewing all the.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But they still
Coming
wanted to
on.
join the council.
Well, then maybe they should join like.
After?
Yeah, because I don't think it's a great idea to have a member of the council not.
Who's not?
How do you vote? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you, yeah.
You wouldn't be able to
So,
vote.
and you shouldn't feel obligated to find the chair.
No.
Because you're brand new. But, yeah,
Say that there's a couple of spots that could be
Yeah.
open and we're just trying to match the person to the spot. I mean, I can sell it. I
But
just,
no, there's no matching of person to spot because,
it doesn't work. It's a vote. right?
yeah.
But I'm saying we would vote, and if they wanted to do the chair, then we would vote and try to put them in the chair if they seem like they're the right person.
Oh, absolutely, that right. But I mean, in terms of, don't look for the chair, just look for.
Yeah.
Right.
just
Look for
good
people that
members.
are interested,
Look for
yeah.
good members,
Exactly.
and that's true for you too.
Absolutely,
Look
absolutely.
for good
That
members.
makes
We can
sense.
talk, so we don't double the thing. I mean, in what areas, maybe we can talk.
Yeah, you come out with chair, it scares people off sometimes, especially if they haven't done it before. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
My point, yeah.
So actually, I wouldn't necessarily propose it that way, although I think, Janet, you know some people
Yeah.
that I think you
That they have
feel, you feel
administrative
Feel
you.
comfortable with it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really not difficult administrative skills. It's not high level.
Yeah, just-
I mean, we're not talking an hour a
People
week.
used to running meetings. And keeping
Exactly.
things on track. and,
Exactly.
you know,
That's-
Writing.
that's really what you're-
Sticking to them, yeah.
That's what you're looking for, because what you're describing, Leonel, is a different kind of thing. And I think you want to do that, and that's fine, but you do need that person that she just.
That's helpful too. They're both helpful things. I mean, really,
Right.
this is the whole, I mean, you get different voices, and that's the advantage, I suppose. But the diverse group of people can do a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
And as a teacher, you know that. I mean, this is, this imputing, so bringing in the younger crowd, searching. I mean, this is what the cultural council can do. So let's.
Anything?
Ed,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have any people that you could suggest as possible new members?
I'm too new to the neighborhood, as you know. So all the people that I know just resigned.
I know what you mean. Yeah, all right.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Is resigning these.
So we have marching orders.
Yeah.
Check with Veronica and let us know if the person has to live in Stockbridge.
I will check on that. I will also.
Yeah, I
As
would think
long as
so.
it has their own,
Right.
every town has their own.
And, and my leaving in the beginning of November doesn't mean that I'm not available to answer any questions that come up.
Okay,
Typically, I don't know if you've been fed the information, but there's only about 20 valid authorized requests for grantees.
Yeah.
Only 20, correct?
So we usually get about 29 to 30 applications.
But of which many are fraudulent, right?
They're not fraudulent.
They're not,
They're just.
Be the right word,
They're
but
not
yes, I think
eligible.
what you're saying is that
They're not eligible.
it doesn't work for a specific reason.
Yeah, and they're not long.
They might be blasphemous.
It does-
We don't know.
It doesn't take a long time to review the
No.
Oh,
application.
yeah, no, that could
Yeah.
be fun. Yeah, no, I can see that.
then it is actually, it is a lot of fun. I'm just.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
and the decision meeting, I thought went remarkably smoothly
That was-
last
yes,
year.
yes.
It just, we ran through them and we went through a couple of times,
Yeah.
either maybe, yes, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And we went back to, and it was very effective.
I was amazed at how much ground we covered in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
Yeah.
huge, it worked
Yeah,
out
I was
very
very
well.
impressed with
So
that.
it's a good group. It works
Yeah.
well together. So just add a couple more people and the same kind of thing and we'll be in
Great.
good shape. So thank you all. Thank you all for understanding and,
I'll miss you, but.
oh, thank you.
Private meeting like you.
That's good to
Yeah,
hear.
and we'll be in touch about the treasury stuff in
Okay,
addition to some.
that's great. All right, so we're going to adjourn.
I'll write up the minutes.
That was quick. I didn't.
Yeah.
You guys all,
Yeah.
you said five, right?
Yeah, we said five. No, we just
We're
started.
an efficient group.
Ed, thank you.